Let's get right to it. Manny Machado to Kevin Acee, and we'll react to it all. I got to do it. Talking about playing, he said, absolutely, I got to play. I'm fucking frustrated. I'm fucking pissed. I can't get there. I do think I found it. I think we made a couple of adjustments that got me in the right direction, but I just can't get there. I got to get there. It's fucking frustrating. I know I'm going to be there. I'm just too fucking good. I have to figure it out. I will figure it out. Even if I blow my fucking elbow out again, I will figure it out. Let me just say this, and we'll get right to it. I respect it. That's all I'm going to say. I do respect it. It doesn't change his season. I respect him saying this. This is the 180 from what Schilt says every single night. This is 180 from Schilt saying, hey, umpire, eject me so I look good. This is real and authentic to me. So I respect what he said. Doesn't change his season. He said more in the last 24 hours. Padres lost a crushing game, by the way. But Jim, I think we may disagree a little bit here. I think you agree with some of what I'm saying. I respect that. I like hearing it. He cares, in my opinion, after I read something like that.
Hey, at least someone's pissed off. At least someone's upset with what's going on. Now, this is more towards like him personally, because him personally is right now dog shit on the field, and he knows it. I mean, just listen to that quote, right? There's been a lot of pieces written about Manny Machado in the last 24 hours. By the way, I didn't realize that the other voice in the clubhouse talking or asking Schilt questions was Mark Feinsand. At least I think
MLB.com.
at least I think that's who it was, because obviously he wrote a piece and talked to Manny.
Yep.
But anyway, like, yeah, at least someone's pissed off. Maybe I would wish it was maybe for like a team thing, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, he knows it, obviously. It's better than him saying, just
back of my baseball card, we'll figure it out. It's a long year.
You better jump on the bandwagon now, because when we start fucking raking, you'll be like whatever. He said, So at least it's this and not that. But the elbow issue is a huge problem. Okay? Huge problem. And I don't know who talked about him shutting it down last year to get his elbow fixed early, instead of trying to gut out a fake rest of the season. Oh, yeah, that's right.
But one thing here is you're right. I honestly, there was a part of me, Jim, that for a lot of the last 18 months, I'm like, is Manny kind of done? Are his best years behind him? Jesse Rogers on the radio today was like, maybe his best years are behind him. He's going to be 32. But then I think about what he's going through with this elbow, and it's so frustrating. And he wishes he was right, but he isn't right, and he should be on the IL, and he's not. And that's a whole nother conversation. But
you talked about, by the way, to Mark Feinsand.
We'll get to that. I do believe, okay, and listen, you guys know me. I'm as unbiased as it comes with Manny Machado. I have no issues being critical of him, nor does Jim. I believe, and I don't know when it's going to happen, I believe there'll be a second act for Machado where he looks like Machado. Now, he's got to get healthy. This elbow thing's got to get right. It might be 2025. I have no idea.
I hope
he is going to be older. He's not going to be 26 years old. But I believe if you can tell, he thinks it should be right, but it's not right because he's not healthy. But I don't think it's not right because he's washed. I think it's not right because it's not right. And the truth is, coming off a major elbow surgery, it was never going to be right. And he gave us the indicators on that months ago when he told us, hey, I don't know if he meant to say it. It's like the doctors told me, truthfully, it's like I won't be good until 2025. And now he's feeling it. We're in the thick of this thing. He can't do what he always does, Jim. He's hit 6 home runs. It clearly has to do with what he's been dealing with. It's not just, I'm old, I'm washed. It's what he's dealing with. And you read a quote like that, as raw and authentic and as real as that is, and that's speaking to what he's going through. He's been fighting through this freaking ailment for a long period of time, and he's over it. And so are Padres fans, and it's because he's just not right.
Well, it's not like he, has had 5 magical seasons with the Padres, and now he's having a really bad year. and it's very easy to point to his elbow.
Well, no, but this is way worse.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is his 6th season with the Padres, okay? 6th. Out of those 6 seasons, I would say 2.5 have been good.
Yeah, but which one is not like all of the others? Like, let me just 30 home runs.
No, this
32
year.
home
You're
runs,
right. This year.
right? Like, I'm telling you that you're right. Your point's valid. In terms of superstar Manny, we've seen it for a year and a half. But in terms of very capable, good quality, top 30 position player, he's been that. Now Jimmy's bottom 15%. That's
No.
not who he is, but it is who he's been.
Well, they better hope, and I'm when I say they, I mean the Padres, that he does have a second act. Because if he does not have a second
Then
act, this will go down as one of the worst contracts ever. You know, if he continues to decline and doesn't get the power back and doesn't have moments where he sees a pitch and he just can't hit it anymore, like that's going to be a massive problem for this organization. You know, we talked about, hey, is Fernando Tatis Jr. ever going to be that guy again? And then he showed that flash in that 17-game hit streak where you're like, oh shit, there he is. You know, haven't seen him since, but obviously he's dealing with the quad injury. Interesting move to put Tatis in the game when he's dealing with the quad injury in the 9th inning for defensive purposes. But
I have no
anyway,
problem with it. You got David Peralta in right field.
Again,
what
whatever.
gives you a better chance of catching that ball, David Peralta or Fernando Tatis Jr.?
I would have given him the full day off. That's my opinion. Full day off.
Yeah, but you got to win.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, you have Jose Azocar on your roster too, right?
Dude, Fernando Tatis Jr. is an elite outfielder. You agree?
I digress. the Manny thing, okay, it's a problem for the team because they can't afford to just kind of write off these years with Manny in his theoretical prime and the team in their theoretical go for it, win now mode, and have it just be like, well, in a couple years it'll be better. Like, well, in a couple years, this team could be in a completely different spot. They could have a new general manager. They could have a new manager. Like, they could have traded off a bunch of parts. Like, they could be in a rebuild mode with Manny Machado. So, like, that's why it's so important for Manny to be good, because this is the time theoretically that you have to go for it. And who knows what happens in a year or 2 years or whatever, however long it takes him to get back to being Manny Machado.
Fair, but also fair. And there's no guarantee this guy's ever going to be healthy. Guys do break down in the second half of careers. But as it relates to his elbow, doesn't this actually kind of give you a little bit of peace of mind that he's fighting an elbow injury? I don't think he's not the type to not be honest. If nothing else, he's too honest. He's brutally honest. This is a direct quote from a clubhouse of a team that is teetering.
I know.
From a guy that is teetering and opened up. Are you going to get this from him February 15th? No chance in hell. But when you're in the freaking ring and you lost the round and you're bloodied, that's when you get the truth. And when you walk into a clubhouse 9 minutes after a game and you get a quote like that, that is nothing but authentic. Now, I can't guarantee, to your point, I can't guarantee the second act. It's just a quote like this gives me more confidence that there's a reason for his struggles, a real legitimate reason. And listen, I don't like, Mark Feinstein, you put this on social media. This is from MLB.com. Anybody else would have gone on the IL. Something has to be broken for me not to play. My 60 or 70% is 100% for a lot of people in this game. I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything, but I know what my ability can do. There are going to be times where you're going to run it out to get the extra base and score a run like I did Monday, which nobody talks about. That's what kind of ticks me off a little bit. People who watch us play every single day can have an opinion, but when you just catch a glimpse and you see a highlight, you don't have the full story. Listen, all he cares about, and so this can be good for a team as well, all he cares about is himself, which he thinks is helping the team. He thinks by not going on the IL, he's helping his team. He thinks by gutting out this elbow, he's helping his team. He thinks by swinging for the fences, he's helping his team, right? We all agree on that. In actuality, it's like, lose a battle. We don't even know if they're going to win a war. I mean, he might be losing the war right now. But he does this because he thinks like this is what a real leader does. A real leader doesn't shut it down. A real leader straps it up and plays. That's what he thinks. Now, he might be misguided in that. But when I see these quotes, I mean, this is who he is. This is just, he's always been who he is. And it goes back to last September. That's why I didn't shut it down, because this is who he is.
It is incredibly frustrating, I'm sure, as Manny Machado's going out there. Obviously, his mind is at an elite level, no doubt about it. But when your body is not performing in sync with your mind, oh my God, that is like probably one of the scariest feelings as a professional athlete, right? Because it's not your mind, it's your body that goes first. And when your body goes and you can't do anything about it, I mean, you're in a spot where you're like, I literally want to punch a wall as hard as I possibly can, because I know that this pitch that this guy threw, I should hit it 400 feet.
Yep.
And I'm popping it up to the infield and like to the shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the F? So from that standpoint, yeah, dude. I mean, obviously, we're not professional athletes, but when you hear a guy go through that, it sounds like it's the worst feeling in the world to, in your mind, know exactly what you should be doing. And oh, by the way, you have done it before, right? And to go through the process and everything and do the exact same thing that you have done in your career and then it not work. Yeah, dude, it's the most frustrating thing on the planet, probably. It's the worst.
Yeah.
And I'm not disagreeing with that. And I'm telling you that I definitely have sympathy for Manny for what he's going through right now. I'm just telling you, though, this team can't afford to go through this right now, because they are in a position in their franchise where they needed him and they need him to be Manny Machado. It's unfortunate that he is right now recovering still from an elbow injury and then dealing with a hip flexor or a quad injury, right? But unfortunately, no one's going to be sitting here and being like, they lost their 5th straight game and 9th straight on the road, and they're now 3 games under 500. That's okay. Manny's going.
No,
Manny's,
you're right.
That's okay.
Dude, you're spot on. But like, and I think we're both saying the same thing, which is kind of both things can be true. You can recognize / sympathize. We're not sympathizers or apologists for Manny Machado. I sympathize with the position he may be in based on what I'm reading and hearing and seeing. That's accurate. I also know that what he knows, which adds to the frustration, which makes it doubly difficult, which is he has to produce. He is in his prime. He's earning a lot of money. He's being counted on to get this team to the postseason. By the way, working harder doesn't necessarily mean anything in baseball. If anything, it can hurt you as opposed to help you. So it's like you need to get results. You're not getting them. And people should be critical for that. But also a part of me that I didn't fully recognize until now, and this is not going to change my tune forever on Manny Machado, but a part of me recognizes that he's not right. And I fully recognize it now. It doesn't excuse it, but I do think it's factual that he's basically fighting with himself to be right. And it's not going to, here's the problem. And this is why I said there's a second act. I don't think it's coming tomorrow. I don't think you're going to see Manny Machado like we've seen him previously in 2024. Now, his quote says he thinks he figured stuff out. We heard Tatis say he played better for a couple of weeks. Maybe, cross your fingers, maybe it happens. Maybe he's figured something out. Or maybe that's the eyewash. That's the part he has to say. But truthfully, when he puts his head on the pillow, he says, I'm screwed. Until I get this thing healthy, I got to figure it out, but I'm not going to be the player I know I'm capable of being because I'm not healthy. Let me just get to these first 2 supers because they've been in the queue for a while. So first of all, guys, subscribe. There's going to be a ton of people here tonight live or on replay. Please subscribe. We're pushing for 6,400 subscribers. We're less than 40 away. If we get to 6,400 tonight with you guys live or on replay, we are grateful for it. So please subscribe. Smash the like button for us. And you can follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We'll get to every single super chat here today. It's a great way to support our channel and our work. Click the $ below the chat box like Padre Phil. This is very generous, Phil. Thank you. He says, guys, I really appreciate how honest you are with your comments here and on the radio. Great job. Thank you, Padre Phil. I mean, again, Jim, as you know, I mean, we will be as critical as is necessary, including tonight, if I'm guessing, over the next hour. But I also like to think that there is some reason. I mean, I'm reasonable. I can speak for myself personally. So when I read some of those quotes, I'm sympathetic to the quotes. Now, the truth is the truth. They've lost 5 consecutive games. They are teetering right now, and Manny could be a lost cause in 2024. But we have to be, what are we if we're not honest? So we're going to be honest with Padres fans, and that's what we'll try to do again here tonight.
Yeah, like, look, when Manny's at his best and he's playing well, it's a beautiful thing to watch, dude. And as Manny goes, more often than not, the team goes. I think that's kind of, you could see it, right? I've watched almost every single Manny at bat since he became a Padre in 2019. Sure. And more often than not, when Manny Machado is at his best, the team is close to their best as well. Okay. When Manny Machado's not performing and not playing well, the team more often than not is not playing well and not performing. That's just how it's gone the last 5.5 years so far. But like, just because he's injured, John, he's not going to get excused there's a reason there. There's a reason for his struggles, but he's not going to be excused for me because he's out there. And if he is proclaiming that his 60 to 70%, which is, crazy, is close to 100% for a lot of guys, well, then you're still expected to perform. And just, I understand the frustration, bro. Everybody's frustrated. I get it. There is sympathy there. There is definitely sympathy there. But what there is no sympathy is you being the highest paid player on the team and you not performing. It's one thing if you're out. I mean, Xander's out. We're not talking about Xander every night. You're out there every night. Whether you want to say that's, and by they, I mean, us, like, is it hurting the team or is it not hurting the team? Could you argue that him out there at 60% is hurting the team? But then who's the alternative? Who's the replacement? Well, nobody's as good as Manny Machado at 60% on this team in his position, right? So it's like, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. And by the way, Manny makes his own rules and he's going to be out there. As he literally said, He is not going on the IL unless he has a bone broken or if he tears something or whatever. And even if he does tear something, I guarantee you'll try to get back out there. But him not performing is hurting the team.
Well, part of me, again, it's like part of you understands like there is something really valuable about being the guy that will go at it despite circumstance. Like there is something in there that you would think provides value, but not when you are weighing it down. Like it sounds good in your head. I'm not going on the IL. I'm the captain of the ship. I don't leave the ship. If the boat's going down, so am I. That there's some like valor in that, in theory, until you're the reason why the boat's going down.
He's trying to patch up the stuff on the bottom of the boat, and it's not working.
But by the way, he's not the when I say the reason, THE, he's not the reason they're in this spot. There's a lot of reason. By the way, Xander Bogaerts doing nothing all year and being on the IL is also a reason. Okay, and he gets off scot-free. No one's asking him to play on a broken shoulder. And Manny, truthfully, Jim, would get off easier if he just bit the bullet, so to speak, and was on the IL right now. We wouldn't be talking about Manny Machado beyond a day if he went on the IL. We'd be saying, man, they could really use getting him back. But we wouldn't be vilifying and criticizing and critiquing Manny Machado every AB, every word. He'd be on the IL. Like Xander, you can kind of hide when you're on the IL. We're not criticizing Joe Musgrove every day or Yu Darvish.
No.
But he's out there. So he's kind of opened himself up to that level of criticism. So it's kind of a unique spot to be in. Again, is it admirable? To some extent, but to what end? And the issue with Manny as he's aged and as his career has gone on with the Padres is He's not able to perform when he's at 70%. Maybe he got away with that as a 26-year-old. He's not getting away with it as a 31-year-old that's 2 weeks away from 32, coming off major elbow surgery. This ain't no groin strain. This ain't no hip flexor, which he suffered. This is a major elbow surgery. And he might have thought he was prepared to deal with the repercussions of that, Jim. There's been all kinds of setbacks, from the throwing program to the offseason to his hitting program to his health. I mean, he might have thought he was prepared to deal with this, and then it all boils over on a night like tonight where he's like, this is just absolute BS. I wish I could explain it.
And who knows if he got the surgery a month earlier, if things would have been different.
Good point.
I don't know. If they're saying this is a year-long recovery, then
Right.
it wouldn't have mattered at all, But on the flip side, what if it would have helped? What if an extra month of rehab before the season started, because they, started their season before everybody else and had to ramp everything up to get to Korea? What if it did help? Then what? Then, I mean, we don't know, but I'm just looking at both sides of, like, in hindsight, maybe you get the surgery beforehand. Maybe you go, okay, we're at the end of August here. I can't move my fucking elbow and I can't swing. And every time I try to throw a baseball, it literally feels like my elbow's on fire. Maybe with where we're at, I should do something about this. I just signed a $350 million contract. Maybe it's a win, lose a battle, win a war type of mentality here. And I don't think anybody would have shit on Manny if he shut it down and he got surgery. Like, nobody actually would have been like, what the hell? Because that team was DOA at the start of September. Dead. Okay. The only thing that they were playing for was their personal numbers. And they happened to get really hot. And then there was this fake, playoff picture in mind, and it didn't work out. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe it didn't matter. Maybe it was a year recovery time, the whole entire, thought process through the doctors and everything. And we just found out about it way later than, everybody else, right? Like, because when he said those words about, hey, it's going to take about a year for me to get fully healthy, and that was in the start of the season, like the
that
first
was
month.
Like February, March, April. Yeah.
We're like, what? And
I mean, it's like kind of like when you heard, and again, I mean, there's actually some, like when Kawhi said off his knee, like it's going to take another year. People were like, oh, it's going to take another year. And by the way, I mean, it's a completely different sport, but Kawhi was better his second year. And he played a lot of games his second year off the knee. And he said the first year, hey, I'm going to need another year. And people are like, you're going to need another year? And Manny said it. He's not the guy to say it, but he has talked a little bit more about his health this year than he's ever spoken publicly about his health. Let me get to this from JD's Third. He says, thank you, JD's Third. He says, Manny is only saying this stuff because he's being held accountable and called out. It's too little too late. He's selfish and should be on the IL. Fair take, fair criticism, reasonable. Yeah. I'm sure a number of people feel the same way. He obviously understands. Jim, when you read the quote from Feinstein, he understands that what happened Friday night in New York with the blown bubble running up the first base line is problematic. Whether that's where front office, manager, social media, wife, family, someone got to him. And that has obviously been bothersome for him. If not, then why would he be hustling on Monday and running out balls hard? Because somebody in some regard got to him, whether maybe he got to himself, but he recognized that that's not going to be deemed as, good play. And you can't get away with that.
Yeah, I put on social media a lot of interesting quotes from Manny Machado of, in the last 24 hours. Just must be a coincidence, though. No, it's actually not. The reason
comes
why
on the heels of this viral moment, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we can call it what it was. I mean, he dogged it down the first baseline on Friday night. Plain and simple.
Yeah, definitely.
He dogged it. And
no one would argue with that.
He got caught in 4K in New York, and it got blown up. Okay? Right. It was everywhere. When you have a moment like that in New York, it's going to be talked about. And I still don't understand why nothing was asked the following, day or even that night about Manny.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Like it took to Monday in Philadelphia for this thing to start. You start seeing some quotes about it, right? And people talking about it. But, in the 5.5 years that I've covered Manny Machado here in San Diego, honestly, Friday night was the first egregious moment of the quote non-hustling Manny that I've seen here in San Diego. There might have been other moments, right?
Yeah, I think that's going far.
But I
Me
think
personally.
that was the most egregious of his lack of hustle moments here in San Diego, in my opinion.
You might be right, but find the show where I went off on him because he was egregious that night. Like, if we watch back him not running out the balls that he grabbed to the 2 double plays the night that I went off on him 6 weeks ago, it was similar crap. Like, why are you not moving? Why are you giving up? But I mean, the thing Friday night that made it even worse, and to your point, if it's Tyler Wade, who cares? He gets benched. Nobody would ever talk about it ever again. Nationally, it wouldn't be. But the thing that really hurt him is the ball was dropped at third. Like, he may have been able to get away with it if it was a routine play. The guy just gloved it and threw it to first. He was out by 50 feet. But because the ball was dropped, it made it appear as if he was just running, he would have been safe. And oh, by the way, they lost a 1-run game, and it happened in a 1-run game. Okay, I do want to tell everyone about our title sponsor. We are just getting started. If you are here, subscribe.
We haven't even talked about the game yet tonight.
We haven't. We will. Well, that's
game.
the thing with the wrap-up show. I mean, is anyone doing what we're doing day in and day out, giving Padres fans like 90 minutes of Padres talk following this absurd road trip and talking about all the angles here? We haven't even talked about Mike Schilt and John Boy, what happened in Philadelphia. We got ejected as well. Listen, our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz, has been with us since day one. And if you support our work, if you support this channel and you have an insurance need, you have to get in contact with Mark. It's as simple as that. He's an amazing insurance agent, San Diegan, diehard Padre fan. I've got homeowners, life insurance, and earthquake insurance through Mark, and you can as well. And here's the thing. He's going to save you so much money. I mean, he saved me thousands of dollars. Just by switching your insurance, he can save you $750. We all could use that money. In addition to that, he's got great service and communication. I know it because I've lived through it firsthand. We had to get out of here a couple of years ago because of flood. He took care of everything, saved us so much time and money, so much. So if you have an insurance need, click the link in the description down below. He does more. He does auto, home, renters. He does everything. Click the link in the description down below, get free quotes, or call him. And he will talk to you about the Padres. He'll get you free quotes. He'll save you money. The next time you have an insurance need, contact our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, all his information is below here in the ticker, mnimitz at farmersagent.com. When you reach out to our buddy Mark, let John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
All right, we will get to the game, but let's comment on this because there's a super chat. Thank you, O'Neill, potentially. Thank you for the super. He says, did you guys see John Boy's video on Schilt? Yeah, we talked about it today on John and Jim. I think it only further intensifies my criticism potentially of Mike Schilt, truthfully, that he's more of a, like he wants to be perceived in a certain manner. Hey, eject me. Like if you haven't seen it, we could talk about it, but like he basically asked to be ejected. He didn't actually warrant an ejection. He asked to be ejected because it was just something he wanted to do for show to back Manny Machado. Again, I have more respect for Manny being visibly frustrated and getting thrown out, saying what he has said to the media the last 48 hours, than Mike Schilt saying what he has said to the media the last 48 hours, and then watching back this video from John Boy where I learned that Mike Schilt, basically, it was like an inside job. He's like, please get rid of me so I can look good in my clubhouse. Like, that's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, we can't play the video because that John Boy would just dock our channel for copyright infringement. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, I said it on John and Jim. I thought it was pretty soft on Mike Schilt's part. Like, I mean, you're supposed to be this fiery guy. Like, I mean, this isn't like you're 42-22 and you're going out there to get your players back like you should. I mean, you're about to get swept, my guy.
In the
you're
moment.
about to get swept. At this point of the game, you're trailing, I think, 7-2 or 7-1.
7-2.
And you played like shit in New York. Okay. So maybe go out there and get your money's worth. You know? I mean, it's not like these. I mean, you go out there and you're literally like asking the umpire, just eject me. I just do it because I need to look good.
I respect you. I think you've done a good job.
You've done a great job. You've done a great job. You know, if anything, look like you give a shit, Mike. Like,
well, how about the part where he acts surprised and pissed when he gets tossed? That part of it is almost the most absurd of it all.
Totally like what is the word? Oh yeah, eyewash.
That's complete eyewash.
Like there has, and I'm not saying this is just a singular incident. Like I cannot believe he asked to be ejected. This happens a lot.
Guys have done it.
This happens a lot. They
Yep.
go out there and they say, look, I'm about to get my money's worth and you're going to have to eject me. You ready? Okay, here we go. Like
It
that's
does happen.
Happens all the time. All right. You know, they do it knowing they're going to get ejected. Not like, and a lot of times it's either to like fire up a team.
Well, that is what he should be doing.
I know, that's what I mean. Like he should have been doing that, or whatever the case, or sticking up for your player for getting ejected himself, or you know, a really bad call. Like, hey man, this is a bad call here, and I'm not going to let it slide. And I need to send a message right now. So you're about to eject me. We're about to go at it, and he didn't do any of that. He just stood there and he took it, and he just said, "Eject me. You're doing a great job. Eject me. That was a shit call, but you, other than that, you've been doing a really good job. So you need to eject me right now because you just ejected my best player.
Ready?
You ready for that? You ready?" And he's like, "Okay, you ready? Okay,
Like,
cool. You're gone."
And
he didn't even react after that. You know,
no, he kind of did. He did he was like an actor. He looked like he won a freaking Emmy. Maybe that's the wrong word.
I just thought it was completely soft on Mike Schultz's part for a guy that claims to be a fiery guy. Be better than that, Schilt. And if you're going out there just to get ejected to save face, to stick up for your player, then why are you even out there? I mean, that's stupid. It's ridiculous. If you're going out there to stick up for your player, stick up for your fucking player, man.
It's a bad look. And did he expect that someone on social media would break down word for word what he said? Nope, he didn't. Nope. But that's the world we live in now. And he's a public figure, and it's the highest level of professional baseball. And people exist like John Boy that are going to do stuff like that, and it's going to go viral and going to be talked about. And it's in the Padres clubhouse, on the bus back to the hotel in Philadelphia. They've all seen it. They've all seen it. They're aware of it. They may have their own opinions on it. Maybe some aren't as favorable on it as others. It's not a great look to have that out there nationally about your manager when, like you said, you're riding a 5-game losing streak now and you're about to get swept in New York, and it's just not good. The perception there is really poor.
And honestly, like, it is pretty funny to watch. Like that, I watch it and I'm like, oh my God, this did not happen. Like I'm just laughing at this. Like, did Mike Schultz really just say, "Please eject me"? Like, I have to get ejected here. What? What did he say? He was like, "Eject my ass" or something like that.
It was like, ridiculous.
Eject my ass. Like,
he's like, it was so dumb.
What are we doing, dude?
I have no idea. JD's third, thank you again. He says, heavy is the mouth that chugs McNuggets, or heavy is the head that wears the crown. Listen, there's a lot of attention on Manny Machado. It's not going away. And in fact, the more they lose, the more attention there's going to be. The more he doesn't produce, the more attention there's going to be. This thing isn't over. When he gets back home, he's going to be answering the same questions, talking about the same damn things. We're just getting started, really, with 2024. Spicy Mayo, thank you, man, for the super chat. He says, as a Dodger fan, I don't know why the organization doesn't step in and put Manny on the IL. Injury hurt Cody Bellinger from MVP caliber to where he is now. Love what y'all do. Because the organization is Manny Machado. I mean, what are they going to do? Like, eject yourself? You know?
They don't have one person in that organization that will step up to Manny Machado and tell him what to do. Not one. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but because there's a lot of organizations that, I mean, you think LeBron James has anybody in the Lakers organization tell him what to do?
Like, he's one of the greatest players ever.
Right. But exactly, John. He's one of the greatest players of all time. And so he's got a little leeway. Manny's not the one of the greatest players of all time, and he's going through a dog shit year. I'm not saying it excuses any, like he's excused by anything, but again, since Manny got here, Manny has shaped this clubhouse into his clubhouse. Okay, whether people like it or not, that is Manny Machado's clubhouse, and there is nobody in there to tell him what to do. And you know, we know New York, that's Aaron Judge's clubhouse. Okay. But Aaron Judge and Manny are different as far as their styles go. Okay. I don't think anybody's sitting there like, there's nobody in New York to tell Aaron Judge what to do. This is ridiculous. But here in San Diego, we're we're kind of saying that about Manny. Like, there's no one in there to check Manny or anything. And that's probably a part of the reason why last year was last year in that clubhouse. Because you had a lot of alphas in there.
Since this doesn't mean anything, but I always say this, like quarterbacks records matter, managers records matter, $350 million players on teams that haven't won World Series, it kind of matters. Manny, since the start of 2019, when he got here and put on a Padres uniform, the Padres are 3 games over 500 in 6 years. They average being 0.5 games over 500 in his 6 seasons. It just hasn't worked. I mean, more often than not, it hasn't. There's been some bright spots. 2020, no doubt. His play, the team's play. 2022, no doubt. His play and the team's play. But man, the other 4 seasons have not gone smoothly at all.
The changing of the culture has not been the changing of the culture that people might have thought was going to happen.
Expected completely. Moises, thank you for the very generous super chat. Guys, if you're here, over 300 of you are here live. Please subscribe. Year-round content for Padres fans, the home of real Padres talk. So please subscribe. Also, thank you for the super chats. Great way to support our work. And click the $ below the chat box, like Moises, who says, Celtics changed course and promoted Brad Stevens to president of operations in 21. Now they're champions. Winning is no accident. It starts with ownership. I sound like a broken record. This team needs a new voice. You want to make Schilt the GM, Moises? Is that the proposal here? Want to make Melvin the GM?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if a new GM to just tinker and tweak things would be the great. I mean, there's probably people out there that think that, right? Like with this organization, but I don't know. You most likely you get rid of Preller. They're not going the Theo Epstein route. They're going with a no-name guy that isn't going to be cost. I mean, I don't feel like they would go big. Like they wouldn't go like, holy shit, like a big name.
Yeah, there's what is a big name? Like you said, it wouldn't be Theo Epstein. Is Kim Ng a big name?
She's known. But
again, like they, to her credit, she's gotten the Marlins to postseason impressively, but she hasn't had all these 95 win teams or World Series teams. Now she's done some things against odds,
right?
But you know what I mean? Like outside of Theo Epstein, it's like, and also I always say this: it's not going to be perceived as the best job in baseball. It's just not.
Yeah, because you got to deal with a lot of baggage and a lot of things that are cemented here for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. Jason, this is very kind. Thank you for the super chat. He says, I only watch the wrap-up show. No need to watch any other show on the tube. You both have good takes and appreciate your baseball knowledge. That is very kind, Jason.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, we appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. I know he's been in the chat a long time. He's been watching for a long time. JD Gotcha, thank you, says, but LeBron's gotten pushback. Manny, not so much. Manny gets a lot of pushback. LeBron plays in Los Angeles. He's the face of a league that's nationally relevant. Manny Machado plays in San Diego, where he has received pushback locally. And you can't compare LeBron James in the sport he plays and the pedestal that he's on to Manny Machado in the sport he plays. And Manny Machado hasn't had the career of LeBron James, nowhere close. Like, what's the baseball equivalent right now of LeBron James? Shohei? He hasn't. I mean, I don't even. What is the baseball equivalent of LeBron? I mean, Harper hasn't won. Shohei hasn't won. Trout hasn't won. But Betts, you would never say something like that. Freeman, you'd never say something like that. Who is it? These Astros?
Yeah, I don't think there's a comp. Really?
Yeah, there's no comp. So
no,
there's no comp. You can't compare it.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something.
Were you gonna say we have a winner for the MOVA Globe giveaway?
I was not, but we can go there right now.
Let's go there right now.
All right.
Who's our winner?
The winner of our special Padres MOVA Globe
Look at this thing. It spins. Drum
roll, please, John. Jesse Fritz on Instagram, SD_Fritz. I know you watch the show. I know you follow us on Instagram. You're followed us for a while here. But you have won the Padres MOVA Globe. Congratulations, SD Fritz. Totally, we had so many
a couple hundred people
comment on it, and I just literally just do this and I just click on somebody, clicked on SD Fritz. So congratulations, man.
All right, so here's the deal for Padres fans. If you want one like Jesse Fritz, you can click the link in the description down below. They're officially licensed by Major League Baseball. If you use promo code PWS10, you'll get 10% off. The founder invented this in Cardiff by the Sea, right here in San Diego, which is incredible. It operates based on magnets inside the ball, like rotating with the Earth's magnets. I don't know. Plus light. So when the light is on it, whether it's artificial, like our lights here in like our studio, aka my kitchen, or when the sun is up, this thing's going to rotate all day and all night. It's a phenomenal piece. It really is. They have all 30 teams. Maybe your wife likes the Brewers or your brother-in-law likes the San Francisco Giants, whatever it is. They have them for all 30 teams. Great collector's items, officially licensed, amazing products, perfect for like a desk or a home office. They have things beyond Major League Baseball teams as well, like actual globes. My wife thinks it's phenomenal. My 5-year-old son, Jones, is fascinated by it. Check him out. Click the link in the description down below. Use promo code PWS10 and get 10% off your first MOVA globe.
And you can see it behind me spinning because I got the light on it. And so, yeah. Okay.
Let's just do that for the next 2 hours. This is now an what's it called? ASMR?
ASMR? Yeah.
This is now an ASMR channel.
I mean, honestly, it'd probably be more enjoyable than talking about this Padres team at this very moment. But yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about this game tonight?
What game?
We haven't mentioned it one
you want to
time.
talk about who won? Did the Oilers win or did the Panthers win? Because I have no idea. Seriously, whatever you're going to tell me. Did Edmonton win?
Game 6.
Let's freaking go.
Yeah, it's crazy ending.
Alberta, stand up.
Yeah. Okay. We are not talking about the Stanley Cup Final, game number 5. We're talking about tonight.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, I know. Sorry, Michael. It's not the
Dude,
best.
this is like the anti-grimace right here.
Anti-grimace.
If you know, you know.
Anyway,
the Club era. All right.
Don't worry. We'll get at least one win in the Mova.
They'll get a win this year.
We'll get a win. We'll get a win.
And we'll get back to the Supers. What were you saying?
Tonight's game, anything egregious about it? I feel like it's one of those nights that Swartz is going to have at least 2 or 3 times this year. And there is one. Okay, so who did he face first? Harper? I think Harper was the first batter he faced, right?
Yeah, I think he swung. I think he hit the second pitch.
I thought it was very interesting, and I go, when he throws Harper 2 pitches, and both of them aren't his fastball. Did you find that interesting, or did you even realize that?
I mean, to be honest, because I was in my car or I was just getting home with Jones, and the game was on, but I wasn't watching as to know what pitches he was throwing. All I know is what I watched was hit, game over in 4 minutes.
I mean, he did throw his fastball, obviously, but the 2 pitches he threw to Harper, right? We all know the history there. They showed it on the television broadcast right before Harper got at the plate. Why? I don't know. But again, drama, and they haven't faced each other since then. So it makes sense. And it was in Philadelphia, right? A lot of bad memories there for him. But the first pitch was like a 91-mile-an-hour splitter or something.
Okay.
And then the second was like it looked like a get-me-over slider. I don't know. But it wasn't his fastball. And I'm like, interesting. And then the very next pitch, fastball to Bohm, ropes it up the middle. Okay, now you got runners at first and third, no out. And then you're facing Stott, who is a good contact hitter. And I feel like he was so late on the fastball that he didn't even realize he shot it the other way. And then that's it.
And he did shoot it the other way, though.
Yeah, but then you're like, what the hell? And then you get to Castellanos, hits a fly ball to right field. It's kind of in a no man's land, and then game over. But the first 2 batters that he faced, Harper and Bohm, okay, it was just weird to me. And I might just be saying, I might be the only one thinking this, but it was weird to me that he didn't throw a fastball to Harper. And then you get Harper on, and you're like, oh, and then now Bohm's the plate. And if you're Bohm, you're thinking he's throwing me fucking fastball here if he didn't throw a fastball to Harper. And he's on it right up the middle. Now you get, or I guess the gap in left center, or a little bit left center. And now you get first and third. And now place is going crazy. and you're like, oh shit, first and third, no outs. I'm in a place where the last time I was on the mound here didn't end well. Like, I don't know. I just thought that the
I don't find it
sequencing was
weird because
interesting.
if there's anyone you're going to get cute with and almost outthink yourself, it's going to be Bryce Harper in that spot. So yeah, Robert Suarez has a plus fastball, a 99 percentile fastball, but Bryce Harper's a 99 percentile hitter.
Mhm.
So maybe he just outthought the room and got cute there. That would be my speculation if both of the pitches, in fact, were not fastballs. I'm trying to find his pitch chart for tonight and having a hard time doing it in real time. But that would be my only thought process there. You're talking about Bryce Harper. Yeah, Robert Suarez throws nearly exclusively fastballs, but Bryce Harper ain't no dummy. So
No, and Bryce
that's my
Harper's
only thought process there.
one of the best clutch hitters in all of baseball. And, like Merrill said it on last Wednesday when he hit the walk-off versus Mason Miller, I'm sitting fastball. And as soon as I see something else out of his hand, my bat speed is already there because my head is thinking fastball. So then it's kind of like, all right, you gave me that pitch to hit instead of your fastball? Perfect. Now, he didn't hit it out of the
Well, I
ballpark.
don't know if it's as easy as that.
No, well,
I heard that same thing, but
I don't think it's as easy as that. I'm just saying for Bryce Harper, it's probably a lot easier than not. From a standpoint of like you're sitting fastball and you don't get fastball.
Bro, if he's sitting fastball and you're throwing fastball, that doesn't put you in a favorable spot either with Bryce Harper. Everyone else is pulling fastballs by.
How about this? Don't leave the ball in the middle of the plate against Bryce Harper. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, again, that didn't do him in, truthfully. Like, if you give up a single to Bryce Harper to lead off an inning, okay, it's not ideal, but Robert Suarez has worked out a lot more than that this year. He was, okay, here's what it is. It's a combination of a very clutch team that's winning at a ridiculous clip at home, that's never out of a game, that started this game 1 for 9 with men in scoring position, stranded 11 men through 6 innings. They had opportunities all night, Jim. They finally capitalized in the 9th inning. Shoot, they scored obviously as well in the 8th inning. But Robert Suarez was due for this. Unfortunately, the Phillies are an elite lineup that believe they're never out of a game, which is in fact true. They're 29-10 at home. And like once you're first and third, nobody out in a 1-run game, you have the odds stacked against you from that point forward. And I don't expect this to be some type of carryover for Robert Suarez. What sucks is you go fully for it, obviously. King was really good, but he threw a ton of pitches. And then you're just high leverage into high leverage into high leverage all night long. And you're using Estrada and you're using Suarez. And for the first time all year, you don't win a game with Robert Suarez on the mound. I give the Padres credit tonight. Coming back, I mean, quote unquote, but they did nothing for 5 innings. They quote unquote come back. It's a 1-run deficit. They take a lead. They get good enough pitching to get Robert Suarez on the mound with a lead. That's Mike Schilt's job. We always talk about that. Then Suarez blew it. It absolutely sucks when that's your 5th consecutive. How many times have they lost 5 straight games now? 3 times this year.
And
they've lost 5 consecutive games.
I know.
And they don't have longer than a 4-game winning streak. It's almost remarkable. The record is 37-40. And I don't know how you pick up the pieces tomorrow. I mean, pray. Ranger Suarez is good, and so is Matt Waldron. But you're in Philadelphia, and it's a house of horrors.
So, like, do you have any problem with how Schulte managed?
No, Estrada in the 7th, because I think it's probably right. Who's he facing in the 7th as opposed to who's Peralta facing to start the 8th? I mean, I understand it. If they're only going 3 outs each as opposed to – you weren't going to try to get Estrada and Suarez doing 9 outs.
No. I'm just saying, like, now, Wandy Peralta, again, Kyle Schwarber owns this fucking franchise.
Owns them.
But he's also having like a really good year. I'm trying to look at what happened here. So, what was it? Bottom 7. Estrada faces Bohm, Stott, Castellanos, and Marsh.
And strikes out the 3 guys he gets out other than Stott.
And then bottom of the 8th, you get
8-9-1. I mean, so you're thinking, do I want Estrada for freaking Bohm and Castellanos, or do I want it for 8-9-1?
And he's looking at Schwarber as the guy.
You're looking at Schwarber, but then again, here's the thing we have to remember too with Peralta tonight. He preserved the lead. I mean, it was 3-1 to 3-2. I'm fine with getting to Suarez in a 1-run game, aren't we all? Yeah, it's Philadelphia. It's not going to get dicier than that. But like, if you would have told Mike Schill before the game, I'll get you to Robert Suarez with a 1-run lead in the ninth, he says, sign me up. And we would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
So
I
don't know.
Hey, I know I don't like hearing it all the time, but like that's baseball in that ninth inning. You know, you have
definitely
one of the best closers, if not the best closer in the game right now. And, you know, 4 straight hits, game over, cough it up. Like that happens. It's much better to have your best guy out there, go down with your best guy on the mound than it is to try to like force something else. You know, that's just the tough part about it. You want to look at the rest of the game. Like, again, you needed length from King tonight. You didn't get that. You only got 4 2/3. And, you know, Campy had a good game, even though he got hit in the nuts, but he came back, had that huge 2-run home run. Profar continues to play great, got that RBI there. And it just, you know, again,
I'll take that from King because the lineup for Philly is so good, and King has really been pretty good.
He looked like he was pitching well, and then at points it was like, okay, all of a sudden there's 2 outs, and then boom, runner at second, third with like, what the hell?
Well, yeah, he got out of all those spots all night long.
Yeah.
And he got some good defense, like from, I don't know if it was a defensive clinic, but Cronenworth made a really good defensive play in that inning where a run scored. Listen, I mean, they're getting no length from their starters. I think it's 4 consecutive starts. Nobody's gone 5 innings.
And here's where
guys didn't get out of the 4th, I think.
And here's where it's tough. You don't have a day game tomorrow in Philly. You're facing Ranger Suarez, who is the best lefty in baseball right now this year. Matt Waldron's been great. You are going to need minimum 7 innings from Matt Waldron tomorrow because you used your A team tonight, and they're all kind of, I mean, Matsui, Morejon, Estrada, Peralta, Suarez, and they all didn't throw 1 pitch.
Right.
And you lost. So tomorrow, you're going to have to find a way to scratch and claw and try to get across a couple runs, and you got to have a long outing from Waldron. If you don't, you're in trouble.
Yeah, they're just in trouble in general with this bullpen because there's no relief. I mean, even when they come home, they play. You know, they don't have an off day until I don't know when. End of a homestand,
next
6-7
Thursday.
Days. Yeah, I mean, so they're still in.
If that,
I mean, they
don't
are
even know.
taxing. They're taxing the hell out of their bullpen, is what they're doing. Now, will Suarez throw tomorrow? Yeah, of course he will. If they've got a lead, wouldn't be surprised if they tried to get a 4th. Now, here's the one thing. Were you going to mention this to me? Now, would I have been opposed to going to Suarez with 2 outs in the 8th and a 3-1 game for Schwarber?
Yeah. I was going to talk about that.
Well, the answer is no. I mean, I wouldn't have been opposed. That would have been smart, from a strategy perspective, if they were willing to do it, if they were willing to give them that 4th out. I don't know if that was part of the plan tonight or not, but
that's probably a situation where you're trying to get 1 more out, and you have a matchup that you kind of feel favorable about. Yeah, exactly. Like if there was a runner on first.
Oh, what are we talking about? They can't even do it. He started the inning, 3rd batter.
Oh yeah, you're right. My bad.
So
never mind.
It's not even something.
The whole mindset there was, I'm bringing in Wandy Peralta for Schwarber.
Yeah. JD's 3rd, thank you. He says, guys, AJ Tingler-Preller is not only GM, he's president of baseball operations. Herein lies the problem. He screws up twice in the front office. 10 years is enough. He was promoted to that, right? After 2020, maybe? Or 2022, I forget. No, it's a fair point. It's like The Emperor Has No Clothes. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but it's like, who is there to check AJ Preller? The answer is, who the hell knows? I have no idea if it's Eric Atsenda or Eric Grupner. I don't know the dynamic right now in the clubhouse or in the front office. Andrew, thank you for your support from Korea. He says the Dodgers clubhouse can accommodate Betts, Freeman, and Ohtani, but Manny can't handle Tatis and Soto. The egos are a serious problem. I don't know if Manny can't handle Tatis. I mean, they've spent a lot of time together over the years. Now there was the St. Louis run-in a number of years ago, but I don't know. Do you think Manny and Tatis don't get along?
I think that Manny gets along with other players more than he gets along with Manny.
Wait, Manny gets along. You said Manny gets along with other players more than he gets along with Manny.
Oh, no, I meant Tatis. Sorry. I think Tatis gets along.
Yeah, sure. There's no doubt. His relationship with like Profar.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
Profar, Arise. Like I think
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a really good point.
I don't think there's like this like divide between those two. I just think that like it happens with everybody. Like I get along better with this person than I get along with this person. You know, I'm nothing against that person. I just get along better with that person, right? It's just how it is. And with a little bit of history and a little bit of past there, you know, I don't know how that affected everything, but anyway,
They claimed in that moment to be like brothers. Remember afterwards, like it's kind of like brothers fighting is what happened in 2021.
Well, I hope so, because if
sure
they said, yeah, we fucking hate each other, then it'd been World War III in there.
It's a good point. We'll get back to the chat in a moment. We do want to remind you about our partner here in the wrap-up show for the last, I don't know, a couple of months here. Our friends at Finley. This is a local San Diego startup. Speaking of Tatis, we'll tell you why. We'll talk about Tatis in a moment. But these guys are huge Padres fans. They're San Diego through and through. Local startup with offices that oversee Petco Park. Here's how we explain Finley. They make it so that anyone can acquire a stake in the potential success of real athletes. For example, they've got their first athlete. His name is Shedri Vargas. He's one of the top prospects in the Texas Rangers organization. You can support him and get paid a piece of his future major league earnings. Fernando Tatis Jr. did a deal with a company called Big League Advance a number of years ago when he was in the minor leagues. He gave up future earnings to get a guaranteed check or revenue when he was a minor leaguer, and he ended up giving up tens of millions of dollars of future earnings. Nobody's saying Shedri Vargas is turning into Fernando Tatis Jr., but you have a chance now where you can support a rising prospect because he signed for very little money and they're raising capital that will allow him to focus on baseball year-round. So as you see on the screen, as I scroll down, that you can invest for as little as $96, and should he make it to the major leagues and have a successful career, you could turn that $96 into hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. The more you invest, hundreds could turn into thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, or even more than that. So Finley's a really cool company. If you want to learn more, if you want to invest in Finley and Shedri Vargas, you can click the link in the description down below.
Yeah, click the link, check out their website. We're glad that Finley's on board. If you have any interest or any questions about, what they do, the best thing is just to go to their website, to click the link below. Mark Grant is an advisor of Finley. Their offices are right across Petco Park, and we're glad that Finley's a part of the wrap-up show.
What do you make? This is an interesting comment here from Padre Phil, who got us started tonight. He's got another super, so thank you, Padre Phil. He says, after tonight's loss of Manny's comments, tomorrow's getaway game back to San Diego will show us a ton about this team. I mean, I don't know. We're 77 games in, so we've got real data. They're facing Ranger Suarez. I thought Sunday they had something to show us. They get swept by the Mets, and we're kind of lifeless for most of that game. Gave up 11 runs. I mean, are we learning anything tomorrow about the Padres, win or lose or not?
No. We'll learn more. I mean, I think we'd learn more if they won, just from a standpoint of like,
wow,
they beat a lefty. And not only did they beat a lefty, they beat the best lefty in baseball right now in Ranger Suarez. And they beat the best team in the National League on the road. Remember when I asked, would you take one game? I was like,
now I would. I'll take it now.
Yeah, I know. I know you would. I would take it too. And I said that Monday. I was like, I'll take one win. Give me one win. I'll take it. Yeah, I mean, we kind of know who they are. They're just a team that has grit and has fight, but they're just not good enough. Like the Phillies have grit and fight, but they're a really good team. So tonight,
they're without one of their best players too. They've been without. I mean, Trey Turner just came back. They're without JT Realmuto. I mean,
he's not their best.
Every team's dealing with
Bryce
injuries.
Harper is their best player by far.
Correct.
And he is putting up together an all-star season. Hell, I mean, maybe at the end of the day, you could probably say if the Phillies finish best record in the National League,
MVP
season again, puts up a 900 plus OPS with like around 30 home runs. It's over 300. Like he's going to be top 5 MVP.
Sure.
For sure. So like, again, those are the easiest and simplest ways to describe this Padres team and describe why they're not performing. Their superstars aren't getting it done. And tonight, Manny Machado expressing how he's just not there and he doesn't know how to fix it and he can't do what he did because he's recovering from the elbow. That is a huge problem for the Padres because they needed their superstars to perform this year, and that's what they were banking on, by the way. And right now, you got one of them, you're probably biggest, probably most important, saying, I just can't do it.
Oh, by the way, I mean, I found this like 30 minutes ago. I forgot to mention it. Dennis Lin reporting tonight on Fernando Tatis Jr.
The quad.
That he's been dealing with it since April. And then here are quotes from Tatis. Just not at my best. I feel like most people can notice I'm not stealing bases. I'm not running the way I know I can run. Just a little bit banged up right now, but we're going to keep fighting to see how we can find a way to stay on the field. There were more quotes in here. It's really deep in my quad, right next to the bone, and the medical staff and myself have been trying to figure out what it is. We're doing a couple of things that have helped it, but still not all the way back. So and again, I've said that. You've said it. I'm like, the Tatis, at times, like, where's the 2020, 21, 19? Where is that guy? Now, we saw it. It was a 17-game stretch. He looked really good and healthy and impactful. No doubt about it. Was really, really good. And now he's really struggled in this road trip, missed a day. And we're learning that it's been a battle with not just a quad, like a real significant thing that's been kind of plaguing him for weeks on end.
Very unfortunate. I mean, couldn't be worse timing for this team.
Just is what it is.
It is what it is. And like I've said, end of the day, for me, no excuses. And especially in this National League, no excuses. So, I mean,
yeah, stop talking Tatis.
No. I'm not talking about Tatis in general. I'm talking about just the team as a whole. Like, that's not Tatis.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
They got to get there. I mean, they got to get there. And right now they're in this absurdly crowded wild card race that they're all of a sudden slipping in, and they're a game out, and there's 5 other teams that are right there ahead of them, and they got to start winning. Mauricio, thank you for the super chat. He says, hi, guys. Any chance Schulte eventually gets fired, if only to get a reaction from the players to make the playoffs? If so, when? Yeah, imagine he goes to Preller. Just, you got to do this. I know you don't want to, but just do it. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. JD Gotcha, thank you. He says Bud Black ejected for ripping umps in the 9th versus the Dodgers after a missed call on Teoscar Hernandez. Yeah, we saw this. Schilt should have taken a page out of his book. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the division now? As if anyone cares. Is it 10 games?
I don't care.
Because I said when it was 10, it'll never be mentioned again. It's 10, so it'll never be mentioned again.
I don't look at the division standings at all. My thought process here is the Dodgers will win the National League West. There's no competition for them. They're competing against themselves. And so there's no point in looking at those standings or any standings at this point, really, even in the wild card. I mean, unless the Padres fall to like a really bad, like 7 or 8 games under. And then if I look at the standings and they're like 7 or 8 back, then you're like, ooh, we have a problem here.
Ooh, there's a problem. The Padres are equidistant between the Dodgers and the Rockies. 10 back of the Dodgers, 10 ahead of the Rockies. And in 4th place right now.
It's not good, John.
4th place, technically now, half game behind San Francisco, 1 game behind Arizona. Moises, thank you. He says, Mova is the curse. Sincerely, the Marine Layer. But dude, if the Padres had only one curse, I mean, have you guys we've all been watching. there's been a lot over the years. There's been a lot. JD's Third says we dropped 46% to 32% chance to make the postseason. You're saying recently?
Don't look at those. Don't.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I don't buy any of it.
Those.
I don't buy it when it's at 94%.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy it on June, whatever today is, 18th.
I mean, you want a half glass full Jim Russell right now?
Sure.
So with the percentages for things, how many times have we seen a team go to the World Series and at this point in the year or even later in the season, they have a percentage chance of like 20% to make the postseason or like a less than 1% to go make the World Series?
Washington Nationals, 2019.
Washington Nationals. So like there is time for a lot to happen. By no means is this team dead. They're just playing really bad right now. And they're in a stretch where it could look ugly here in a couple weeks. But they're not dead. There's, scenarios out there where they do make a crazy run, but those are all dependent on their health. If they don't have these guys, they're not making a run, and that's plain and simple. I don't even know if that was half glass full. I don't know. Whatever.
And lost in all of this is what, again, is being written by an actual baseball reporter in Robert Murray, saying that the Padres are pursuing starting pitching and high leverage bullpen, which, by the way, makes a ton of sense. As opposed to throwing Peralta out there, throw someone that's had an effective year in the 7th or 8th inning. The starting pitching thing we are watching play out in front of our eyes. This is a bad combination. 26 games in 27 days, and you're pitching Adam Major and you're pitching Randy Vasquez. This is not sustainable. They absolutely need to do something if they do envision getting to the postseason. Otherwise, it's going to be a slow demise potentially over the course of the next couple of months. So we'll keep our eye on that as well.
Yeah.
Did we get to this? Yeah, we did, from JD's third. So yeah, I mean, again, I said this last night and I'll say it again. This idea that the one thing I would do if I was Preller, I'd probably slow down for a moment. I don't know if I'm acquiring pitching tomorrow. And you might say, well, hold on, John. Don't they have to stay in this thing? No. It's on the 26 in there to figure out a way to stay in it in the mid-National League. If they can't do that on their own, then why are you buying a month from now? If they do hang around and play 500 baseball, then go help them out. But like you just said, if they fall 7, 8, 9 under, what are you buying for? For what? Fool's gold?
Probably. And what other choice do you have? Like, what other choice does this franchise have? With everything that's been said, I mean, you have a guarantee from Schulte that they'll be there in October, wherever that is. You have a constant message from the organization that they're here to compete for World Series, and you're going to just sell at the deadline? No fucking chance in hell. No chance. If anything, they'll just stand pat like they did in 2021, where Preller, after the trade deadline, had that press conference where he said if our guys aren't healthy, then, and if they don't perform, then we are not going to win and go anywhere. He's right, but you only get so many chances to say those things. You can't continuously say year after year, well, this happened and caused, X to happen and Y to happen, and this is why we're on the postseason. Like,
sure.
You don't get these chances all the time. And, a lot of general managers and a lot of managers and coaches are fired. And if you look at a lot of them, I bet you a lot of them have dealt with a lot of injuries on those teams. But again, that's because people don't want to have those excuses. And there is zero excuse if the 6th wildcard team gets in at 82 and 80 and you're not one of them, even with the injuries that you're dealing with. So, yeah.
Okay. We're going to get back to the conversation in a moment. I want to remind our viewers about this, Jim. This is a brand new offer from Underdog Fantasy. Not even Jim knows about it. This is super cool. Now, I didn't format it perfectly, but I put it up on the screen anyway. Oh, I got to go this way. Yeah, let me do this.
What's happening?
Hold on. How about this? Use the QR code at the top of the screen over Jim's head, kind of over his head, and use promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. You've got a pick your player, okay? You want Caitlin Clark? They're playing each other again Sunday. You want Caitlin Clark? She scores higher than a half point, you win. You want Angel Reese? She scores higher than a half point, you win. 1 point equals 1 win. You choose. You want Caitlin Clark to score 1 point? You want Angel Reese to score 1 point, and you win. But wait, there's more than that, okay? In addition to that, you're going to get a free special pick as well. So this is live right now at Underdog Fantasy. Okay, you get 2 specials. You get the Clark or Reese site-wide special and a new customer special as well. So sign up right now. Take advantage of this incredible offer going on right now. They're giving you a winner, folks, right now for Sunday at UnderdogFantasy.com. Pick who you want to win with. Angel Reese, higher than a half point, or Caitlin Clark, higher than a half point. Click the link in the description down below. We've been playing Padres Pick'ems all season long. It could not be easier. Jim's had a couple of $400 or $500 wins. I've been winning as well. You got a free pick 'em right now with promo code PODSWRAP. That's PADSWRAP. PADSWRAP. Play along. Pick your player. You want Caitlin Clark? You want Angel Reese? You can play along right now, right, Jim? You like that graphic?
Great job, John.
This is the new channel. It's now the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese channel.
I'm sure that will go over very well and will be perceived.
Yeah, let's just talk about Caitlin
manner.
Clark and Angel Reese. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, just change our entire channel. We're
Let's do that right now.
Yeah.
Is there anything we haven't talked about seriously today? Like, was there anything we talked about on the radio? Because that feels like 100 years ago, the radio. What did we start the show with today?
On John and Jim?
Oh, it was about Schilt talking to the media.
Yeah. See, you're not going to
say anything.
You didn't say anything tonight. But again, I mean, that's such a heartbreaking, just tough loss that I don't expect him to be.
Yeah, to go on his soliloquies.
Yeah, like, did you see how great we played that game for 8 innings? Like, I mean, I don't think he
can't do that.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's just it's the same thing. It's like you almost get numb to it because this has been happening for such a long time. 3 of the last 4 years, it's just been like, and even 2022, it wasn't like this team is great. Like, yeah, they got Juan Soto, but then they immediately were like 500 and Soto couldn't hit. It's just
right.
And they built up a good amount of equity with how they started the season.
They did.
So they could afford to go, I think, like 51 and 52 for the remainder 103 games of the season or something like that.
Right.
It was crazy. So, I mean, truthfully, you take away the 2022 postseason run, which was what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, but you can't do that.
I know you can't, but I'm just saying of the last since 2021 regular season, 2022 regular season, 2023 regular season, and then the 2024 regular season so far. I mean, how many like great stretches for a prolonged period of time over like a 100-game stretch has there been?
Not 100. I mean, you had, like you said, the first 60 games of 2022, they were really good. And the first 60 games of 2021, they were at one point, actually 100 games in, Jim, they were 67 and 49. The 2021 Padres, we looked this up, when they collapsed, that was the highest above 500 they've been under Preller, 67 and 49 in August.
That's amazing. It's an amazing thing. That is amazing, dude.
I think that's right. And then the wheels completely fell off. Or maybe they were 57 and 39. Whatever the hell it was, they were 18 over in August.
Well,
and
basically, they're since, like you said, I mean, since Manny's been here since 2019, they're 3 games over 500.
Yeah, it's not great.
So, like, that's like the point I'm getting to is this team has been just, average. And it's not like they have one year where they went like 102 wins and then one year they were like 50 wins. Like, they're
right.
It's like,
I mean, I wish I knew what was going to happen tomorrow. I mean, it's hard to envision, although Waldron's been really good. But like someone in the chat said earlier, Padre Phil, like, I mean, at some point you're going to have to show up, even when things are tough. Like, you can't just write this off as you're playing a really good team. Now, again, we've had this conversation like, they could get in and win. I've said that. Nobody knows what happens if they get in. But the truth is right now, the gap between teams like the Phillies and the Padres is even further than it is in the standings. I mean, the Phillies are a completely different team to the Padres in so many ways. And we're seeing it play out firsthand these last couple of games, but they're 5-0 against the Padres this year. And they're winning at a 70% clip or whatever they're winning at right now. So it is a little bit hard to envision, even if you fast forward, having success against a team like Philadelphia or even LA. But then again, who would have said it in 2022 that they were going to beat the Dodgers in a 5-game series? Not us, I don't think. And I mean, it was hard to envision, and then they did it. But they just got to get there, dude. They just got to get there somehow.
And then it doesn't get any easier. I mean, you come home.
No, the schedule's tough.
Very tough. Very, 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 very tough. It could. I don't think this stretch will make or break their season, but it could break their season.
It could.
mean, I take that back. Actually, yeah, this stretch could make or break their season. If they played really well, you could be like, okay. If you play really bad, they'll technically still be in it. But like, then you go into July, and July doesn't get much easier either.
A tough schedule in July. I mean, I'm just trying to envision like that make or break. Like, you know, even if they came
If you are
home
7 games under 500 at the All-Star break, how you feeling?
not good, not good, not good. But I
So
wonder how
what-
many games out they'd be.
If you are at the trade deadline, 8 games under 500.
Yeah, I think at that point you might be punting, but I said the same thing last year and they didn't listen to me. So it's a great point. I mean, they would have serious work to do. They got work to do right now. Even with this bad National League, they got work to do right now. Maybe you want to get healthier. The Padres need to get healthier. You can do so with Aura plant-based supplements. They've got them for you. Probiotics, which I love. I take daily, have for 2 years. With Aura for digestion, heart health. There's so many reasons to take a probiotic, and you should as well. They have pre-workout supplements, which are terrific. They have proteins for after workouts. They have omega-3 oils. A lot of men my age take fish oils. So you can take the omega-3 oil, get the same health benefits. You can take a sleep pill, an immunity pill. They've got a free shipping offer going on right now. They have so much more than that, by the way. If you click the link in the description down below or go to ora.organic, their co-founder, Will, has been a longtime supporter of this channel. He is a huge Padres fan. They've got offices right here in Liberty Station. So if you support the channel, if you want to get healthier, check them out, ora.organic.
Yeah, go there right now if you want to live that healthy lifestyle that you crave. Or is the place for you. All their supplements are organic and plant-based. www.ora.organic. Pick up some supplements, and you'll thank us later. Real quick, John, before we head out, rest in peace to one of, if not the greatest baseball players to ever play the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Willie Mays. This is probably one of my favorite bobbleheads that I have. And if I think you would agree, pick one player that you never saw play that you wish you got to see play.
He'd be on the list. He'd be on the list. I'm sure Babe Ruth would be on the list. I'm sure for me, Sandy Koufax would be on the list. I think he could be on the list, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a short list. Like Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, I would say maybe Jackie Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Jackie Robinson would be right there, definitely.
Bob Gibson.
That's a great question. Put it in the chat or in the comments if you're watching on replay. One player that you wish you could have seen that you've never seen live. That's a great question.
Because, like, there's a lot of that side on social media of, like, I never saw Willie Mays play, but he was my grandpa's favorite player or my whoever favorite player. And it dawned, my fandom because of my parents' fandom from watching Willie Mays play. And, I think him as a baseball player, and you see the highlights, just a guy that was just so far and away better than everybody else. It felt like just like his size, his speed, his athleticism. Like you're like, whoa, who's that guy?
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, his numbers are so absurdly gaudy.
He never. Wait, no, that was
so
Hank
true.
Aaron. I was gonna say Hank Aaron never hit over 50 home runs in a season, but Willie Mays, did he ever hit 50 home runs in a season? Willie?
I don't know the answer to that. But what I do want to show people,
24-time All-Star.
That's amazing.
And only 2 MVPs.
Quick, as you mentioned this, let me see if I can pull it up. So the reason I wanted to mention that, so the Giants are playing at Rickwood Field in Birmingham.
Crazy how timing works, man.
Which is amazing because Willie Mays played for the Birmingham Black Barons.
Yeah,
which is the Negro League team in Birmingham. He's from Alabama. And he played for the Black Barons, who play at Rickwood Field, which I think is the oldest stadium in America, potentially. But there was a minor league game there tonight between the Birmingham Barons and the Montgomery Biscuits, 2 Alabama teams. I want to show a highlight, though, of Rickwood Field, because if you've never heard of this thing or if you've never seen it, They've been doing Rickwood Classics in the minors for years, but they've never played, or I don't know the last time a major league game has been played there, if ever. And it is kind of ironic that the Giants are playing at Rickwood Field in Alabama, home of the Birmingham Black Barons, 2 days after Willie Mays' passing. But let me see if I can pull this up full screen. You can see this stadium. This is the craziest thing you've ever seen. It's a little baby bandbox from 1900. Look at this stadium.
He's been terrific. And he hits that one out into right.
That's where the Giants are playing a major league game on Thursday
off the top of the wall
against the Cardinals, right?
Yeah. And there's
it's this little tiny stadium. I don't know how many people it seats. 5,000, something like that. It's tiny.
Yeah. You know how I think of like numbers as signs at times, right? Like for like Aaron, whenever we see the number 3-4, we think of her mum. And Willie Mays passes away on 6/18/24. That's crazy.
6/18/24.
6 + 18 is 24. 24, 24.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I'm not a numbers guy though.
I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a weird thing. Like, I saw a number thing. Like, the last 2 championships that the Celtics have won has been in 2008, 08, and 24.
Right.
You know, like, it's just I just sometimes I see numbers and it's probably all just coincidence, but I also think that sometimes it's kind of weird how it's always coincidence for these crazy things to be had, right?
Right. By the way, Rickwood Field capacity 10,800, where they'll play a major league game on Thursday.
And then they're in Chicago, another place, one of the only ballparks left that Willie played in as well.
Interesting.
At Wrigley.
That's interesting. A couple supers here. JD Gasha, thank you. Says, I don't know how much of the College World Series we've watched. Nice segue here. But it's been a good one, an underrated event in American sports. Tennessee, Florida State, round 2 tomorrow. It's never been something that I've really gravitated towards. I would absolutely be enamored with it if like San Diego State was in it, but it's never been something I've really gravitated towards for whatever reason. We watch it. It's on in the studio all the time, but I don't watch it intently, truthfully. Maybe because I watch a lot of Major League Baseball.
Yeah. Sorry, JD Gaucho.
There's Jim's response. And then JD Gaucho saying this year's the 50th anniversary of the catch, which is pretty incredible. Polo Grounds?
Polo Grounds, the ball
470 feet out there.
There's a video of Vin Scully talking with Willie Mays in San Francisco that I reposted, and he says like that wasn't even your best catch. Like, I watched the catch that you had; it was a better catch than that.
Right.
And Vin like described it perfectly, and you're like, oh my god! But
yeah, the one thing I didn't understand from that video was like, this is the first time they've met. I'm like, wait, well, hold on. How are Vin Scully and Willie Mays meeting for the first time in 2016 when they were both in New York 65 years before then?
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
That doesn't make sense.
But yeah, this bobblehead here, the catch bobblehead. Look how, this thing right here, you got Willie Mays and the ball is literally like part of the bobblehead. I freaking love this bobblehead, and I think that catch, where he caught it, you would never see that happen in big leagues ever right now. 440-foot bomb that Willie catches in center field. Polo Grounds was like 502 feet.
I was gonna say, I think it was more than 440 feet because the distance to center was 483. It was longer than at one point. They moved the fences in, but it was 483 at one point.
How did a player back then hit a ball that far too? That's insane.
No, they didn't. It's just they didn't have, the stadium just existed that way.
No, I meant like they hit the ball 440 something feet. Willie caught it.
Oh yeah. When he made the catch.
I mean, it's
I'm saying, it's amazing. But the whole idea of the Polo Grounds is so ridiculous because how many balls were ever hit over the center field wall?
It was such a weird ballpark. It was like out and
it was
like
280 down the lines and 480 to center.
Yeah, you're like, what?
Yeah, it was bizarre. Truly bizarre.
Imagine playing that game in the modern era in that ballpark. Oh my god. You got meatball after meatball. No one would hit 500-foot bombs.
Dude, it's a great point. JD Gasher, Jeff Kent's son, Caden, playing for Texas A&M.
That's great.
The more you know.
Great.
The more you know. All right, that's going to do it for us. I don't think we're doing this tomorrow, are we, Jim? No, 10 a.m. game. We're off.
No. We're off tomorrow, guys.
We're off tomorrow. So we'll be back Thursday night. Actually, Thursday for John and Jim, because we're off all day tomorrow for Juneteenth.
Yes.
But we are back Thursday at 3 p.m. on John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll get you ready for the Padres coming back home. Obviously, an important homestand, no matter what happens tomorrow. And then, of course, with you Thursday night for the wrap-up show as well. So if you are new to the channel, if you're here live or on replay, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, we would appreciate that. We are pushing towards 6,400 subscribers. If you're a Padres fan, if you want year-round baseball talk in general, please subscribe. We have it for you. I think we're about 37 subscribers or so away from 6,400. So maybe you're here for a first time. Maybe you've never subscribed. If you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, we appreciate it. You can hit the like button for us. You can follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. If you're here on replay, thank you for the super thanks as well. Thank you for your support of our partners, including Mark Nimitz, title sponsor of the wrap-up show. And again, if you want that pick'em special with Underdog, they're giving you a free pick'em, either Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese. You can get it right now. Use promo code PODSWRAP. That game isn't until Sunday, so we'll tell you about it this week. But again, promo code PODSWRAP. Get that free pick'em at Underdog Fantasy. Padres lost today. What was even the final score? 4-3.
4-3.
Right now, Padres lost 4-3 to the Phillies. They've lost 5 straight. We'll see if they can get one before they're coming home, and we will see you Thursday on John and Jim and the wrap-up show. Peace.